Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. If you are willing to submit any questions, don't hesitate to do it directly during the demo. There's a dedicated Q&A section. It's next to the chat icon in your Teams. And also for legal reasons, which are actually very close to our subject today, the GDPR, I have to notify you that this demo is being recorded today. So by continuing to be joined to this webinar, you agree to be part of this recording, although, as I said before, the videos and the microphones are muted. Also, the attendees' names are hidden from any other participants, so you should not be visible at all at the final product. And after this webinar, we will be sharing the materials, any supplemental materials, but also the recording and the transcript of today's webinar with every attendee. All right, this is the subject for today, how to handle GDPR right to erase requests with confidence. I'm your host for today. My name is Alexei. I am representing Jetico here today. I've been with Jetico for over 10 years now. I've started as a junior engineer in test, so I know every hidden bit of code in the software. I've started in the trenches, and now I'm actually leading technical development and operations here in Jetico. So today I will be talking about some challenges that arise when dealing with GDPR erasure requests, and I will also be demoing our tool BCWipe and explaining a little bit how it can help to tackle those challenges. Which brings me to the agenda for today. So I'll start by briefly introducing the company for anyone who's not familiar, maybe with our brand, although we have been over 30 years on the market. We will talk about what is the right to erasure under the GDPR regulation and what are some challenges when it comes to responding and acting upon those right to erasure requests. We will try to formulate 3 steps to achieve compliance under GDPR. And at the end of this webinar, I will conclude this with a live demo. And as promised, I will reserve a set of time for any questions submitted during this webinar. Jetico, who are we? We have just celebrated this Saturday our 30th anniversary. It's a very proud milestone for us. Over this 30 years, we've served over 1 million customers across the globe in over 100 countries. You will see the map of our key customers, and you can see some big names there. So top security organizations around the world really trust Jetico. Such the big names such as the White House, the Department of Defense in the US, and also governments around the world, just to name a few, has been using our encryption and wiping tools for many, many years now. What are the tools that we offer to our customers? So our portfolio can be divided into branches, if you wish. One branch is BestScript branch, and this is it's a set of tools that offers personal and also enterprise grade encryption products. This is what we started with about 30 years ago, but what we are actually mainly known for these days is our data erasure set of tools, BCWipe. And we have products there for selective file and folder erasure, but also the end-of-life full disk wiping. All right, but now when I'm finished with introducing myself, with introducing the company, let's focus on the subject of today, which is the GDPR right to erasure. What is it? So under the General Data Protection Regulation in the EU, I will just read this out loud. The data subject shall have the right to obtain from the controller the erasure of personal data concerning him or her without undue delay, and the controller shall have the obligation to erase personal data without undue delay. So that's a lot of legal text. Let's try to unpack it. So the data subject is someone whose personal information is being processed. So if we are acting as a business, and we certainly do act as a business as well, this is our customers, right? By processing their orders, by helping them answer their technical questions, we do process some personal data of them. And this data ends up being stored in our systems. Who is the data controller? The data controller is us, is a business. This is someone who collects and stores this type of sensitive personal information as part of their business. So essentially what it says in human language is it says that your customer can approach you as a business and request to erase all their personal information. And you have to respond to such a request without any delay. Right? And you have to not only respond, you have to fulfill this request. So upon a request, you do have to erase personal information of your customer. But how it should be done? Let's unpack this. So while GDPR doesn't specifically specify the method in which the data has to be erased, it outlines the requirements for an effective data erasure. So such erasure should be complete and effective. What does it mean in practice? So the data should not be accessible to the organization systems, users, or applications in any form after it's deleted. It must not be readable or viewable, even though indirect access like logs, backups, temp files, or archives. And most importantly, such data should not be recoverable. The data must be permanently destroyed, so it cannot be restored using forensic tools or recovery software. Moreover, the burden of proof is then on the controller. I remind you here in this context, the controller is us, businesses who are offering services and who are collecting information under the GDPR. So we as businesses should not only enable this unrecoverable and untraceable deletion of personal information, we should also create a proof that can demonstrate to our customer, but as well also to the third party, whoever is checking how well we are performing under the GDPR regulations. We should be able to present feasible proof that supports our claim that we did respond to the erasure request in time and also according to the standards set forth by GDPR. And examples of such proof can be to keep logs or records of every deletion activity associated with the right to erase under GDPR. Okay, now let's talk about why standard deletion is not enough. First of all, standard deletion only removes file references, not the actual data. Unlike we are used to thinking, when we delete a file in Windows, it is not actually being removed from our hard drive. It is just being the sectors that were occupied by this file are just marked as empty. So unless new file or unless the program is writing a new set of data to the pre-existing sectors, the contents of the file remain recoverable, right? This is why the entire industry of recovery tools is existing, because deleted files, shortly after they're deleted, can be still recovered, and their content can be read from the hard drive. Which means also that standard deletion is reversible. Again, there are tools that are literally called undelete, right? So there are tools that can help you to recover the information even after it's being deleted. Also, data may remain in some temporary files or hidden system folders. So our operating system is unpredictable. We are, as a human being, it's unfeasible for us to look behind the curtains and see all the places that third-party tools or the operating system itself has taken the files that we have worked with, right? We only usually think about a file as the body of this file, the actual file that we are working with. But we tend to ignore and not to notice that all of like temp files, the simplest example being every time we open a Word document, a Word creates a temporary file which allows us to recover the contents should we not be able to save it, for example, if power goes off or something. And every time we reopen Word, we are presented with the message, hey, would you like to recover this unsaved changes? This is done due to the backup copies that are created in the background. And it's good. It's a useful feature. I love it. So many times it has saved my work. But it also means that this backup copy is saved somewhere. So every time you're working with data, copies are being created in the background everywhere. So to sum it up, standard deletion is just not enough under GDPR because GDPR specifically regulates that this acting upon those requests to erase should be done in a secure manner, in such manner that it can guarantee that the deletion is not reversible, that the information is not accessible by any means, including forensic tools. So this is clearly one of the challenges when it comes to acting upon those requests to erase. But what are some other challenges that might come into play? Well, as I said, continuing in the context of how hard it is to identify which apps has worked with our files and how operating system has spread the unseen copies of that file. One of the biggest challenges is to locate where the personal data is, right? It starts with one file, but then it just grows and grows and grows. The amount of locations in the system where this file has left a trace is something that we, just by looking at our computer screen, sometimes cannot really comprehend. Another challenge, which is interlinked actually with the previous one, is to how to remove hidden traces. Okay, once we remove the file itself, how do we also make sure that no bits of information can be recovered from other places that we might not have thought of? And the final challenge is to prove that we are compliant, right? This circles back to this idea of that the burden of generating proof for successful erasure under GDPR is then under controller itself, right? It's under us to not only perform a successful erasure, but also to guarantee and showcase, demonstrate that indeed this has been done using this method, and this is why it's indeed unrecoverable. All right, so far it sounds like we're in trouble. There are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of difficulties, but is there a way out? Turns out there is. So let's formulate 3 steps that we need to achieve before we can stay compliant. The steps are: step number 1, we need to search and identify all the locations and to find every bit of the original data that might have spread across our systems. And we are not talking just one computer, we're talking the entire network. Someone has attached the file with the personal details of a customer. It ended up being on a computer where it was not even supposed to be originally. So we need to locate how far and where has the files and the files copies spread. Step number 2, all those identified locations should be completely wiped, and also it should be done to the extent that it's unrecoverable. Here I'm noticing that I'm bringing the word wipe. For someone who is fresh to this concept, I will spend a minute to explain what is wiping. So wiping is exactly the process that it has been developed to address those challenges of standard Windows deletion not being secure enough to get rid of the data permanently. Wiping is the process of overwriting those sectors where the data originally has been stored at to fill it with new information sooner than later, to make sure that every next time the recovery tool tries to go into those sectors and try to recover or read the information that was stored there previously, the information is already gone. It has been overwritten, it has been wiped with the tool, but not only the file body itself, it's also the traces, the system logs, some hidden system locations. They too can be overwritten with new information to completely strip away any recoverable bits of the original files. This is the process that it's called wiping. All right. So once we've identified and found all the files that we need to get rid of, we need to securely wipe them and keep in mind the compliance, keep in mind the burden of proof that lays on the controller. We need to verify that the process is indeed performed successfully, and we need to generate a report, first of all, to notify the requester of the data erasure, so our customer who has requested that their data is being erased, and also to be able to provide proof to any compliance agency that might want to check upon us later. All right, but is there a tool that can solve all those challenges, that can address those 3 steps to compliance? Turns out there is. The tool is BCWipe. So you can see already from the name of the tool, right? This is probably has something to do with wiping. And indeed, it does. So some of the key features of the tool is exactly erasing files and folders beyond recovery. So unlike other tools that potentially erase the entire space of the hard drive, the entire hard drive, also making the entire operating system unusable, BCWipe works within the operating system. It can locate and surgically remove traces of files, folders, anything that you need to get rid of. But not only that, it can also go into the free sectors of the drive to overwrite traces of the files that you have deleted previously in an unsecure manner. In addition to this, BCWipe can also clean data associated with your browsing history, with your local activities online, with your activities on the current computer. And it can do so by supporting the industry standard wiping schemes, but the wiping schemes that are recommended for use by the regulations across the globe. Well, sounds overwhelming, like a lot of features, but is it easy? Well, it is. It is very easy to use BCWipe. BCWipe has a 20 years of history and of development. It started as a very expert tool, but nowadays we try to put new users to the focus. We try to make sure that this tool is readily available for use, and that's why we keep pushing for more usability and automation features, allowing to quickly implement this tool across your network, to start using it in just one click. It's deeply integrated into the OS. It's as easy as just right-clicking on any file and selecting wipe with BCWipe, and you're good to go. And the newest addition to the tool is the data discovery module. And this is really something that now makes BCWipe a full solution for addressing challenges like acting upon the data erasure requests within GDPR compliance, for example. What can the data discovery module do? So data discovery module is the extension to the central management console for BCWipe. It can crawl your entire enterprise network looking for the files that you tell it to look for. And it can be as simple as looking for specific keywords, looking for files that are older than a specific date, looking for files of specific extension, for example. These are the examples of when you know what you're looking for. But the data discovery module in BCWipe can also go beyond just finding what you're looking for. Sometimes you just need to find any personally identifiable information in general. Maybe it's for inventorization. Maybe you just need to know where the sensitive data is located at within your network. Or maybe you just don't have a specific name associated with the request. Maybe you just only have like a customer ID and you need to find a specific passport number or anything that maybe a saved credit card number. This BCWipe can do as well. There are smart presets that can find information based on what it looks like. So here on the screenshot, you see a preset selected that says personally identifiable information. So this preset, without giving it any specifics, it can crawl your entire network and find any data that resembles a passport number, a date of birth, a personal name, and then you can review those locations and decide how you want to act on it, whether you want to protect this information, whether you want to erase it. So it's a very powerful tool to solve the challenge of identification and locating where the data is in your network. All right, but now that we are done with the theory, we are ready to go to the next part of the webinar, which is practice. Essentially, I'm ready to launch my demo. I remind you that if you have any questions, please do submit them through the Q&A section of this webinar. It's right next to the chat icon. I will also see the questions submitted through the chat, but overall Q&A is just a more handy tool. So what you're seeing in front of you is the central management console for BCWipe. I will spend just a moment how it's set up here. So here on the left, you will see a tree of computers and groups. So every individual computer that is registered in your network can be connected to the database, and then you can group them by, let's say, a specific job function or by a physical location. This tool is not limited to just one physical location. You can connect multiple physically separated offices from across the globe to this one database. Okay, here on the right, you see the list of wiping policies. Wiping policies are presets. It's a number of tasks that are combined together, each task having potentially a schedule associated with them. And this is something that you can configure once and then apply to individual computers or to the entire groups of computers to perform your daily wiping tasks. Right, because I mentioned that the functionality of BCWipe actually goes beyond just erasing specific files upon need. You can also create recurring wiping tasks that would clean your free space regularly, making sure that the files you're deleting are leaving no traces. You can also set up recurring wiping tasks to clear your browser history, those passwords that you keep telling your users not to save in the browser, but they still do. Everything this can be securely erased. But now let's move on to the point of interest for today is the data discovery module. It's readily available here in the browser as well. How would we go about creating our search query? Let's imagine we have received a data erasure request. Let's imagine that we have received an official request to erase personal information associated with any business activities that we've done with this person for someone named Clara Müller, right? What should we do about it, right? It's an official request. We need to act up on it also without any undue delay, so we should be fast. about it. What I will do here is I will start by just searching anything that is associated with this last name. So the easiest search query I can perform here is I can look by keyword, and my keyword would be exactly Müller. And I can name my search something like erasure request for the 27th of May, just to be able to distinguish it later, because the entire history of your searches is then stored in the database. All right, I will then I will then select the computers. Let's say I select all computers here, and I will just go on. Actually, let me add a filter here that I don't want to crawl any system folders, just to make the search a little bit faster for the sake of this demo. All right, and immediately once you've clicked those Start Search button, you can start seeing the results popping up on screen. You can follow the progress on every computer that has been selected for the search. So here in the computers section, you can see that as computers appear online, the search starts crawling their contents, and the files are starting to be found. And you can review the files and review what files are being found under the search result section in this view. And you can see that already very fast 27 search results are popping up. But the challenge could be that in this example, for example, Müller is a very common German last name, right? So of course, some of it could be associated with the person in question, but it also could be that some of the data here, some of the files here is actually associated with someone else named Müller. So how can we go about formulating our request in a more effective and efficient way that we can find the hits that are more relevant to us? Well, an example search, an example refined search could look something like this. Let's look for any personally identifiable information for first and foremost. So I select the preset. It will find anything that resembles personally identifiable information, social security numbers, passport numbers, and so on. I will add a filter that it should look for keywords such as Müller, Lada, and we can pull also maybe her email address. Oh, it doesn't want to, but let's include her middle name just in case. And again, I will exclude any system folders. And what I can also do is I can, if I know that she first contacted us, the information I can pull her from her profile. If she first contacted us, let's say in 2018, what I could also do is that I could limit the date range to only search for any files that were created after, let's say 2018. Of January, right? So this is a much more refined search. This is something that potentially will give me specifically files that contain personally identifiable information. The files that contain also one of the listed keywords, such as her last name, her first name, her middle name. You can include also the email, the date of birth, any data that you are sure you know about the given customer. And again, I will start this on all computers, and I will click to start the search. And the computers are being crawled. And I've actually prepared an example search that is exactly like this, but I just need, for the sake of this demo, something that has finished already so that we can review the final search results, we can see how to wipe them and how to generate the certificate of proof for that. So you can see here that this is a identical search that I have launched before this this webinar, and it's completed. And what was found is actually 4 search results that match specifically, that contain some sort of personally identifiable information and also match any of the keywords that we've submitted for this query. And you can see that also a certain relevance is assigned to every search, every finding, essentially. And this is the more keywords we find, the more personally identifiable information is found in a given file, the higher the relevance that is assigned to this file. And then you can also preview the contents of the file before erasing this. So you can also have a glimpse at what's in this file, and you can see that indeed this is one of the files that is associated with this person. Here's another example, just to verify that indeed we are not erasing any files that are that have to do with someone else. So you can review the contents of the file before erasing them, and you can then go about selecting all the endpoints, selecting all the search results that are matching your search query. And after you've done so, well, actually, this is a finished wipe. So maybe better showcase here. So you would select the specific search results that you want to be erased. And after this, you can go ahead and just click wipe data. One more time, because this action is irreversible, what you can do is you are given a chance to review the files you're about to erase forever. One last time, you select a wiping method that you want to be associated with this wipe. For the sake of performance, I will choose the simplest one, just one random pass wipe. You can enable verification. If you do so, BCWipe will automatically read the contents of the overwritten sectors, making sure that indeed the sectors now contain the wiping pattern associated with the erasure request and not the data associated with the customer as before. And so once you've selected all the options, you just go ahead and click wipe. Think twice because this action is irreversible. Okay, and once you've selected the files to be wiped, once those computers are ready to take command, you will start seeing progress of the wiping tasks. As you can see here, one by one, all files are being marked as wiped. And once done, you are ready to get to this final step, to this compliance step. So it is actually as easy as just clicking Generate Report here. And you will select a report name, let's say Erasure Request 27025. We will generate a data erasure report. We can choose the format that best fits our needs. I think the most user-friendly of all is, of course, PDF can be easily attached to an email sent to the customer directly, or then can be also printed and then saved for storage for later references. And I will choose to include the details about specific file names, matches, and their respectful wipe result status. And when I'm ready with my customization of the report, I will just go ahead and click Generate here. Usually this is just popping up a download. Could be that my downloads are blocked in this browser. Let me switch to any other search. Erasure report, PDF, including all the information about every computer and every file match. We are ready to click Generate. And now we're good to go. Here's an example of how a data erasure report generated with BCWipe might look like. The title page contains the overview information about the erasure. The title page is normally enough for compliance, right? You don't have to disclose all the exact matches to an entity that is just checking your compliance status. But if you wanted to generate an extended information report like we did, this information will be included on the following pages. Each page will contain the list of locations and matches that were specifically found for a given request. Like in this example that you can see that it found also a file within a recycle bin that contained information about this lady that requested the deletion of her personal information. And even every search results also has the recap of how many hits within the specific subject were identified within the search query. And such an erasure report, it's ready to be shared with the customer requesting the erasure. So you can just attach it to the email, and this could act as this final proof of erasure. So but you can see that we have completed this process within essentially less than 10 minutes. I think you have 30 days under GDPR to act upon erasure requests. You don't need that. With BCWipe, you can do it in just a matter of minutes. And then your final step would be to reply to the original email saying that you've acted upon the erasure request, attaching the data erasure report as proof, and voila, you can be compliant. All right, this concludes the technical part of my demo. Go back to my camera view for now, and I'm ready to review the questions that you've submitted. First question, does the erasure report include information about the wipe method or standard use? Our company follows NIST guidelines, so it's important for us to document that. Yeah, indeed. If I could just bring back this erasure report, you can see here that under the erasure results section, you can also see the wiping scheme, and that is specified. We also support NIST wiping schemes. With NIST, it gets tricky because NIST standard does not specify which wiping method specifically should be used for erasure. It just specifies how erasure should be performed in terms of final results, much like GDPR, right? It has to be reversible, and then it says it should be overwritten at least one time, right? So any wiping scheme that has more than one wiping pass will be sufficient. So we also created a set of wiping schemes for NIST specifically that have 1, 2, and 3 passes, depending on the kind of level of effort that you want to go for. But yeah, indeed, to answer your question, the wiping report does have this information, and yeah, you can follow the NIST guidelines with that. Can the search tool recognize text in scanned documents or images using OCR? For example, could it help find personal data inside PDF or image files? Very good question. It actually does. This is something that will only become public by the end of June. We are preparing this big release that will do exactly so, right? It will enable the users of BCWipe and the data discovery component in BCWipe to locate personally identifiable information, well, any sort of information, by looking into images. So the AI that you can install alongside Jetico Central Manager on demand, if there's something that you wish to use for in your organization, that this could be an extra module that you install with our tool. And this can then also crawl the images and the PDFs, so graphical information, decode and understand the text that is there, and then to also include it in the search results. So even if you have a very bad quality scan of someone's passport, right, or some other type of personal identifiable information, this will not be left behind. Again, this will be included in the search results. You will be able to preview it and erase it. So essentially allowing you for more in-depth search within the scope of your interest. I don't see any more questions. I think that's it for today, but I know from experience that a lot of questions pop up in the brain right after we click this disconnect button. So I'll be also sharing, you can find my contact details already in the bio associated with this webinar. And I will also be sharing it here. It's right now on your screen, as well as the contact details for our team. In case you have any questions, as in case you want to, you have a specific use case in mind that you wish to understand whether this tool can help you solve your problems. In case you want to try hands-on of this tool, we do offer free 1 month trials of the tool that you can deploy it in your setting, and you can try how it works for you, how effective it is on your network. All these questions you can submit to either me personally, I'd like to be connected, but also to our team. You can see the contact details on your screen right now. But with this having said, we are ready to conclude our session for today. I'm very thankful for everyone who has joined, especially people coming from Western Europe, or you have it early in the morning. We in Finland have it a little bit later. But yeah, thanks a lot, and I'm wishing you the great rest of the day.